Welcome to In Conversation with Koketso Mapilela. Thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you are new, thank you so much for tuning in. If you've been here with me, thank you so much once again to you too for tuning in. I really do love and enjoy your guys' support. I appreciate it, and I hope that today you guys will be able to enjoy this conversation. I will be in conversation with Nomaqhawe. Forgive me, I can't do the click. I'll be in conversation with Noma, and I really do hope that you guys enjoy this. Welcome. Sotuan, the bitty one, Nomaqhawe. That's basically butchering her name, right? So we have Noma today in conversation with me about the art of becoming. I'll let Noma introduce herself and maybe say her name properly because I'm not doing it justice.
Hey, Cookie. Thank you so
Hi.
much for having me.
Thank you for
Um,
coming.
Thank you. To Cookie's audience, my name is Nomaqhawe Molife. I am a multi-hyphenate busy bee, dabble in lots of stuff, academia, arts, all sorts of stuff that makes life worth living, I think. I
Yeah.
hope.
Oh, make life worth living.
Part of today's conversation. And yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think so. Without giving away too much.
Oh, well. So tell me, Noma, what does the art of becoming look like for you? Let's start with that part first.
Okay. So the art of becoming for me is realizing that the only constant in life actually is like the core of who you are.
Hmm.
Um, and then constantly allowing yourself to evolve, knowing what those core values are. And I think in instances where, for example, maybe you're going through a tough season, I found knowing what those core values are, you don't allow those challenges change you or make you bitter and that sort of thing. And so constantly becoming is just being flexible, but there's like this centered sense of self that hopefully is getting better as well in the process and not just like staying stagnant. So yeah, it's an adaptation, constant adaptation for the
Constant
better.
adaptation for better. Ah, I like how you said for the better. Well, how
For
else can you
the better.
adapt? The other way around.
No, you can actually like
Digress.
it
Yeah.
can it can it's yeah, because life throws so much at you and it takes a lot of intention to um to the self narrative that you tell yourself, right? It could be like, oh, I can't trust people anymore, and then you become withdrawn, or you can be like, ah, oh, that's a pity, I forgive, and continue to open yourself to um interacting with people. So yeah, hence
I
the
really like that.
saying better intention.
I feel like that's how I approach life. Like, oh, I forgive you. I'll continue.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you can only give, not that you can choose to continually give people the best of you, like the better version of yourself, not just for them, but for you, like you're saying, better adaptation and not going, backwards. Thank you for sharing that. And tell me, when you were younger, what is it that you wanted to become when you grew up? What was your dream?
My dream, besides being like Barbie,
Oh, you wanted to be
yeah,
Barbie? Oh,
I
that's
wanted
so
to be
cute.
Barbie. I actually wanted to be Barbie. I wanted to be a baker. I think one of the first career options that I wanted to be is to be a baker, specifically because that was me and my mom's bonding time. And that's when I got to do something like an adult task where I had quite a lot of control.
Yeah.
Um, and so I think it was really like when I think about it now, I'm like, I think it was just the affirming space of being trusted to do something.
Mm.
Um, and the affirmation that came with it. So I was like, oh, this makes me feel so good. I think this is what I want to do when I grow up.
Yeah.
And then with time, that would always change according to what sounded cooler.
And what did it
But
change to?
I think at some point I wanted to be a dentist.
Mm.
because I don't know, I can't remember what that was about. Um, but I will say what was constant besides just wanting to be a baker, I have always known I wanted to do different things, not necessarily be something. So I known I wanted to be a cartoonist, hence how we connected as well with the previous
Yes.
project. I wanted to be I wanted to write, I wanted to make videos. So yeah, I found I'm more oriented towards things that I'd like to do more than what I'd like to be
Mm.
career-wise.
And how's that going?
Mm.
How's that going?
A
Tell me.
mess.
Tell me, please. Tell us. I love that. I love that you said it's a mess because I found myself describing
Um,
my life like that. In a nutshell, mess. Tell us more. Okay.
how it's going. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Um, I am 4 degrees in. Um, Undergraduate was one thing, postgrad was other variations of things. I think
Mm.
I've been in varsity since I left high school, and I think it was just not also me stalling, making some sort of decision of
Yes.
what I would like to commit to doing.
Mm.
But I'm currently on sabbatical, and in
Oh,
this, I
that's
think
good.
yeah, this is month like my eighth, ninth month. On a break, and it's really been it's taught me a lot about myself and the anxieties that I had about
Mm.
what sort of career path. And I've realized that you can take on a lot more than almost how capitalism wants you to frame your labor, where it's like,
Mm.
be this, you get remunerated, show up like this, and this is how you're rewarded.
Yes.
And my anxiety was always, oh, then I don't get to be this, I don't get to do that, because also my energy is finite. There's only so many hours in a day.
That's right.
But I'm learning that you can mix and match, but in the mix and matching, it does take a lot of courage because people
Mm.
be like, but don't you want a stable job? Don't you want um to have a particular profession?
Yes.
Yeah.
What is that like? Because if I'm not mistaken, you did sociology, right? Or was it developmental studies? Yeah.
So
How
I was all in sociology.
you were always in sociology.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. And speaking of a stable job and all of that, like how did your family take it that, Noma is from one degree to another to another? I think that's kind of like something that people can easily fall um into. And I say easily, like not that it's easy, but because I found myself in that loop as well, being like, I want to continue studying. I want to continue. Oh, what's next? Oh, do your PhD. And
Yeah.
I was about to start when life was like, girl, hold up, and that's when I realized that, you know what, all my life I've just literally been waiting to do a next degree, like take a gap year. I went to China to take time before doing my master's. I took that time off. After that, I was like, oh, I came to Korea. This was supposed to be a year of me just taking a break, right? And then continuing to study. And, it took me walking down the street one morning, well, one afternoon, and I had, told Dr. Matthew, like, look, I'll start in September. And I was like, actually, no, you are always waiting. Like, I don't really get to experience life or countries that I go to the way that I should because, or not even the way that I should, the way I think, is different from the waiting, of because I'm always thinking, okay, look at this, look at that. Look
Exactly.
at this. Like how can you think about this? You can actually think about, yeah, I think you need to start reading on that. Oh, yeah, and that literally robbed me of so much because, yeah. So I just decided that, you know what? I've been thinking about this, and today I remember I was in Daegu at the for those who live in South Korea, Chimsan. I was at the traffic lights and I said, you know what, God, I'm making this decision now. I'm not gonna start my PhD now. I'm stopping. I don't want to be in waiting. When it happens, yes. So how is that like for you, getting to
Oh
that?
my gosh, like I wish I had done that before registering for my PhD because I'm on sabbatical 4 years in. And I was just like, whoa, stop this train because that constant waiting, you're right, and that constant waiting to be graded, waiting to be,
Mm.
and you don't feel like, because it's school, you don't feel like you're living. It's literally like, oh no, I'm just waiting for this qualification. And then um and I mean, I'm in my 30s, and a big part of like the internal wrestle was I don't even have the material accumulation for a 30-year-old. I live hand to mouth. And I would want to adult
Mm.
in its fullness, right? So even just peers getting married, having kids and stuff, it's like, how do I show up or even just like honor them with gifts nicely? There's a year, I think I had like 6 weddings. And
Oh,
between me and my, yeah, a very close and dear friends, and between me and like my stipend, it was a lot.
yeah, no, it can't.
It
Absolutely
was a lot.
not.
So there's this constant like, oh no, when I eventually start working, then I know I'm
Mm.
gonna gift their kids or they'll get their wedding presents. And I was just like, I can't keep being in this loop. Let me step away and see if this is really something that I want. Um, and I mean, even with my sabbatical, it took a life crisis, a family life crisis,
Oh, I'm sorry
to
about that.
force me out. Mm. To force me out because I think I was still fighting because it's like, oh, I can't quit. I can't quit, right?
Mm.
And I'm so grateful to God that that happened. Obviously, not the crisis, but that everything has kind of worked out to make me brave enough to face what I was internally battling with. And
Mm.
so, what that now looks like is I've put my PhD on hold because I used to have a lot of anxiety about being an academic, but now that I'm not in that world, those anxieties have gone because I realized I am one to a fault because that's how I see the world, the
Noma, you
curiosity and the
are one. What are you saying? I think we just get caught up in all these things of one, oh, if you're not going to conferences, if you're not in those rooms speaking this kind of way that people don't really understand, you're not an academic. You are.
thank you. Thank you so, so much, friend.
You are
And
for real.
I think even in me given, because now I'm not like bound in the ivory tower, how
Mm.
I my curiosity to the world and how I actually now recognize that the way I want to approach scholarship or whatever is actually not the typical of the university space.
Mm.
And like it's fixed like this, whereas I'm very like more creative and contingent and whatever.
Yeah.
And that's okay. So on the one hand, the break has liberated me and like created some sort of like validation.
Mm.
And it's also given me space to be my most creative self. So in becoming, I hope you me sharing, but literally I have to tell you, I was so heartbroken we couldn't finish our project. So one thing I had to
Aw.
learn, I
I was
was so
heartbroken
shattered.
too, but also at the same time, I was, trying to give me grace, trying to give you grace, because I was like, clearly there is a lot that is happening. I was like, I don't want Noma to let go, but then I really did appreciate that you didn't just continue like being like, oh no, we can do this, we can do this, knowing like I wanted something to look this way, and you were like, that's gonna take much more time. That you saying that also kind of liberated me in different parts of my life to be like, you know what? I don't think, not for me to say I don't want to do something, but for me to say I don't think you can give me what I want, as a person.
Yes,
And it's okay,
exactly.
like for me to
Yeah.
to to let you go as a person, realizing that it's not that you don't want to, you are unable to at the moment, and it would
Yeah.
just be selfish for me to keep you. So you gave me that. That was the gift that I took from that, to be honest.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad. And taking it
I'm even
a
getting
step
goosebumps.
further, uh,
Mm.
I'm literally like getting so emotional. Taking it a step further, even just for your audience, like what that what my sabbatical has allowed me is I've given myself the opportunity to try out everything that I've ever wanted. And so, like I
Mm.
said, a cartoonist, illustrator is something that I used to enjoy and get lost in as a
Mm.
child. Um, but in becoming, I've realized there's some things you may be able to do, but can you commercialize it? I haven't spent enough hours I hadn't spent enough hours practicing for me to give you what you want. So I actually was not able to. And that realization and acceptance wrecked me. It
Aw.
wrecked me so hard because I was like seeing and like it just wasn't coming out the way I wanted. And I could hear your
Yeah.
vision. I was like invested, but I was like, actually, this is really unfair. And the biggest lesson I then learned with our collaboration was that's okay. There's some things that you can do, but do you bring the value, like the sort of commercial value or quality to the
Mm.
table? And so even just with figuring things out, adulting work, I'm
Mm.
learning more and more that like one of my biggest traps is being a jack of all trades. I can be like, oh, there's this outfit I want to do, and I'm gonna buy a sewing machine and sew it.
Yes.
But is there's nothing wrong with that, but is that something then that's worth you pouring out time in and actually investing in and being good at and
Mm.
yeah, and allowing yourself to pivot from because a lot of the time obsessing with so many little different things can spread you thin and actually
It
you
does.
plateau.
It really
You
does.
just
I
plateau.
like that you're
And
actually
yeah,
touching
and
on
that's
that.
something that and that's something I struggled with and I wasn't ready to accept. So now I've just kind of told I've put limitations to what I should be doing or
Mm.
that I want to do and taking the time to invest and practice and get better and better and develop. And what I then offer to people is something that I'm like proud of as well. And that can then leave a mark.
Mm.
Yeah. So
Oh,
that's how that's going. It's hard. It's annoying because I want to be great now.
you want to be great
But I'm like,
now.
no.
How do you deal with that? Like wanting to be great now and you realizing and seeing that, well, this is where you are at the
You're
moment.
human and like you yes. I think so currently right now I'm calling you from Clarence, me and two um prayer sisters. We decided to have like a mid-year break and just like
Yeah.
recollect and pray and center. And it's just being surrounded by nature and seeing how everything in its beauty grows. Like things take
Mm.
time. That's how God created. Those are the cycles. And there's actually a beauty in that gentle step by step of things. Um, yeah, and so just centering in that way and kind of seeing even just growing in my skills,
Mm.
enjoying the process.
Enjoying the process.
So I constantly have to remind myself, enjoy the process, be invested in the process. Because yes, the product will get done, but you're gonna let that go, right? What you experience most is the process.
Mm.
And yeah.
I love that you guys are taking that time out. I love to do that too. I really do actually want to do it now. It's just that obviously I'm in Korea and like, do I want it to be a solo thing? But I want to go into nature and just like breathe, you know? And I know you don't have as much time. I really appreciate the time that you've given me and given us, my audience. So I have one last question for you, right? If you were to achieve or if you were to achieve the person that you wanted to be, what would you say to the person that you are right now?
You don't know what tomorrow holds, so just be diligent with today and enjoy it. Take it for what it is and just be diligent for today. All those accumulated steps of diligence in the direction of your vision, you'll get there. But hold today, be present in today and hold it for what it is.
Hold it for what it is. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. This was beautiful. I really, really do appreciate you taking out this time to talk to me. I was like, I definitely need to have Noma and I want to know and hear what she has to say. And thank you for also being vulnerable and being able to share, your journey. I don't think that's something that's very easy to just talk about, at least in my view, because sometimes I had felt like like admitting certain things publicly, even though it's freeing, it kind of made me feel like I'm admitting that I'm a failure. And, because that's, how I felt initially when I wanted to stop, studying and all of that. I was like, how do I not see
Yeah.
myself as a failure? So I really do appreciate that perspective as well, hearing from you, because I would have thought that you're still grinding and you're still fighting the wit's edge. You're still being like Aluta Continua. I'm a warrior, the cream of the crop, as they put in our heads, and when you're not cream
Literally,
of the crop, you feel like something is not right. I love that space. I love it forever. And yeah, I'm still happy that I did take the break. And I'm happy to know that you actually took a break for yourself too. Thank you so much. And I hope to see you
yes,
again next time.
yes, most definitely.
Oh,
Awesome.
thank
So
you.
much. All
Thank
right.
you, Noma.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. See you next time.